Always thinking ahead, Philco gives you tomorrow in your radio set today. So when you look for your new radio or radio phonograph now, look at the leader first. Look at a Philco, famous for quality the world over.
Hello guys, I just wanted to give you another update. I'm still waiting on my parts from Radio Days, which it's not a big surprise. They do kind of take their time over there. I got the parts in from Mauser. I got the 0.27 microfarad capacitors in, and it took a little finagling, but I was able to get the dual 0.05, I guess they were? Yeah, 0.05 microfarad capacitor replaced. I took it apart. It's just tapped. It was tapped on in the middle on one end, and this was one, and this was another, and then this was the negative on the other side. Or I guess since it's not electrolytic, it didn't really matter. But that's how it was hooked up. So I managed to hook that up down out in here. Let's see if you can see that. Well, maybe not. I got it hidden pretty well in there. Well, you can see a little bit. They remind me of these particular type of capacitors remind me of chiclets. But anyway, so I managed to clean the switch and lubricate it a little bit. And what else have I done? That's pretty much it. I'm kind of waiting on parts. Another annoying failure I had around here was the battery died in my X-Tech or EX-Tech multimeter, and the little battery light came on while I was while I was testing these capacitors. And so I grabbed a 9-volt battery and I put it in, and that was the end of that. It no longer decided to work. It won't turn on. It's not the fuse. So circumstances were that a friend of mine works for an electrical supply company, and I managed to get, they had a glut of these Fluke 175s, and so I was able to pick this up for a little less than $200. So and I was able to, they are authorized distributors, so it's now warranted with the lifetime warranty. And the positive aspect of it is, if you can see there, it is made in the USA. So there, I kept somebody with a job around here. Anyhow, so I finally decided to spend all the extra money and jump on the Fluke bandwagon. So anyway, I'm happy with it. It works quite well. Another item that I came across was the volume control in here was actually coming apart. And I don't know if somebody tried to take it apart, because it does look like the tabs have been bent. Let's see if I can get that to focus. You can see here, I was a good boy and I put away almost all my tools. So you can see here this tab is actually bent. And I don't know if you can see the back one. Let's see here. This back one has been bent too, and I don't know if, I don't really know what that's from, come to think of it. So the other thing is, when I got the multimeter in there, it's jumping around. So I'm kind of concerned that I have yet another radio with another dead volume control, and these volume controls are getting a little harder to find, and they're getting a little more expensive. So I dug through the box of the ones I had, and this one was used. It was in a box, one of the Philco box, so I'm assuming they swapped it out for something else. It isn't a Philco. Well, I don't know. Maybe it is a Philco Universal. No, Philco's name isn't on it. Anyhow, this is one of the ones that was seized, wouldn't move. So I managed to, I tested it. I hadn't thrown any of these things away yet, so I had tested it, and it was 550 K. So I managed to take it apart, and as I had discovered with this was another one that was seized. This is a 25K. So as I figured out with this control was they do come apart. You can pull the shaft out, and all that's really been wrong with the 3 or 4 of these I've done is the grease that was in them had just become cement, and then they wouldn't move. So that was easy enough to get rid of with some WD-40. Anyhow, so this one here, let's see. Anyhow, this one here works quite smoothly now. That I managed to get it all cleaned up and use a little deoxit on it, and as you can see, it turns quite freely, and I may end up using it. And the reason why, one of the nice things about this one, and I don't know how much of a difference it makes, but the controls that are in here already, and this is the same in the 610, is they've got there's two power connectors. This back one here and this one here are connected together, and then this one and this one are connected together. So it's a dual pole switch, and so is this one. So this could work out quite well without me having to stress too much about trying to find one. I do know where to find them, but I also know that they're $20 or over $20. So, and I do actually have a factory replacement, new old stock, that will fit this. It's the same one as in the 610, but I am saving it because the 610, as you may or may not remember, has got the volume controls real touchy near the bottom, which most of the volume controls that I've noticed that are bad are, because I guess it's pretty obvious that nobody ever turned these things up that loud. So it's always the bottom, quarter of an inch that's all worn out on these things usually, that I've found. Only problem I have with this one is there is no tab on this one, because there's a tab hole so that these things don't start sliding around. And all of the other volume controls, well, this one doesn't have one either. Most of the other volume controls I come across have those, and this one does not, so that's kind of weird. See how that works out if I end up having to use it. This may just need to be cleaned, because if it was popped off, there's probably just dirt in there, I'm hoping. But anyway, that's that. So another item I was going to bring up is John had brought this up in the comments, and I also got an email about it, or a message about it, because I was talking about the 1A4, and I'm assuming the more modern, the tube substitution books were saying to use a 32 tube in place of the 1A4. The problem with that, the main problem with that, is that the 1A4, I guess I was going to be prepared for this video, but the 1A4 tube, well, I'm still not ready for it. Let's see here. Okay, so the 1A4 tube is an ST12, and the 32 tube is an ST14. So two problems come up. Number one, the tube shield doesn't fit on a 32. fact, it barely fits on the 1A4. So consequently, I can't get the 32 in here. So I wasn't going to be willing to drill this thing out anyway, and as it is, I don't know if... I don't even know. These two tube sockets are so close together. I don't know. They may actually rub, but this is not for a 32, by the way. The 30 goes in here. But anyway, so what I was going to say. Oh, so this actually is a 1A4P. The other thing I came across was Philco. I mean, this does have a 32 tube in it. It goes here somewhere. I think that's the 19 and that's the 32. Philco, later on, Philco said to use a 1A4P, which is supposed to be a... I don't know if it's a successor to the 1A4. I mean, I don't know what the P means, but their specifications are almost identical to the 1A4. So I really don't know what the difference between a 1A4 and a 1A4P is. I thought I actually printed out the 1A4, but the other concern that I had was a 34 tube is more like a 1A4. It's just also an ST14, but the 32 tube is a tetrode, and the 1A4 is a pentode. So there's got to be a reason why they wanted to use a tube that has the extra. Oh, that's the 32 tube. There must be a reason why they want to use a tube that has the suppressor grid in it. I'm assuming. Although I was perfectly willing to try a 32 tube in the place of the 1A4 just to see how it would work. That is, if the radio works. But be that as it may, I did buy an extra 32 tube because the one that goes to this is actually a little bit weak. And I did find a place that has the 1A4P. And funny enough is the 32s are $6 a piece, and these were $2 a piece. So the 1A4P was cheaper anyway. And these 1A4Ps are actually Jan tubes, Sylvania. And on my 600, they test out at 700 Mohs, and on the I guess I never told you guys I bought an ICE 177, did I? Anyway, I did, and I had it professionally calibrated. So that one came out at 800. Anyway, so I tested the 32 tube as well. And my numbers actually came out the same as the 32 tube came from Gene Kid. And these came from... now I forgot where they came from. One of the, not Tube Depot, but the vacuumtubes.net, I think. The guys out in Florida. Anyway, they're also nice, and they seem to have some pretty good prices. They're not as good as Gene Kid, but he didn't have any 1A4 piece. So, anywho, that's where I am with this. The other thing I need to do is pull the speaker out of the cabinet. And I have to put the new transformer on there. So, anyhow, just taking my time on this, as you guys know. The other thing is I had completely forgotten. I wanted to have this part back together by now, but I completely forgot to order the grommets for the tuning condenser. So those should be here. I ordered them from Renovated Radios, I think. I might be getting that mixed up with the other place, Just Radios. The guy who has all the rubber stuff at a premium price. Anywho, so I ordered a set of those for $10. Those should be here any day, and then I can put that back together. And I'm going to bring the speaker down, and I'll do that in the next video. Figure out how to get that transformer mounted on the speaker, and also the speaker has the paper has come off the shield. It's not ripped. It just, I guess, because this thing sat out in a carport on cement. I don't know. All the glue came undone. So anyhow, I'll go ahead and do that. And the speaker does work. I was able to test it since it's a 4-ohm permanent magnet speaker. I was able to test it with one of my little amplifiers. So anyhow, I'll go ahead and get that all done in the next video. But just wanted to give you an update. I hope everybody's doing well, and I'll see you soon.